So we're going to continue working with understanding the basic interface of WordPress. Let's get back to it. So we stopped at the theme editor. We've looked at all the features under appearance. Let's go down to plugins. So when I click on the element here, it shows all of its options underneath. So what is a plugin? A plugin is a helper application that enhances the functionality of another application. And that's one of the things that makes WordPress so cool, is the fact that I can install and use plugins. Now there are thousands of plugins available for WordPress, okay? So this calls into question compatibility. There are thousands of themes, and we'll talk about how to check for and engage and determine the functionality and use of a plugin and whether it's helpful. And if you're you need a plugin, you'll use it. If you have plugins that are on your site that aren't being used, the best thing in many circumstances is to delete or uninstall them. So this is where we work with plugins, and plugins are one of the really cool features of WordPress. And lots of times when I have a problem with a website, if there's a problem I want to solve, one of the things that I use, one of the ways I solve those problems is through the use of a plugin. And that plugin can help greatly. And so we need to understand how to evaluate plugins, how to install plugins, how to uninstall plugins, and how to update plugins. The same thing with themes. We need to understand how to evaluate themes, how to uninstall themes, and how to update themes. Okay, so that's for plugins. And over here, I go to add new, and from here I can choose and download and install various plugins. And there are recommended plugins that I'll make a list of recommended plugins for you that can be helpful to you for different types of page building. Okay. Next is users. So the idea is that you could be working all by yourself, or you could have additional people working on the same environment or same site. And I can choose to add additional people in addition to myself to this environment, and then I can assign them a role. I can say, hey, this person is an administrator, this person is an editor, this person has certain capabilities. I'm the administrator, so I can oversee everything, and I can make any edits, and this person's role might be more limited. And so that's the idea of users, and I can add users by clicking add new, and I can fill all this information out, send them a request, and then they can jump in and help with the site. I have a profile, and this is more for blogging, but the idea is that I can go in here and I can fill out this information here. And I can do this in different places. So if you're using the WordPress as a blog software, this becomes much more important. The idea of having a profile picture, and you can change the color of the interface. Most of the time, I don't bother with this because I'm not using WordPress as a blog software, okay? Next are tools. Let's click on tools. So tools are things like being able to import and export content. Some of the pro page building, you may need to import XML files to be able to take advantage of the pro theme building and so on. And the idea is that these are various tools that you can use inside of WordPress. Settings, under settings are things like general writing, reading, discussion. Most of these are useful for blogging. The idea is that under settings, general settings is the site title, the tagline, the URL for the site, right? The administrator's email address. Now, I can change this here. There's other places where I can access this content down underneath. This information here is the idea of the date format, and time format shows you the date and time, what time zone you're in. Usually I don't modify this from here. I modify these questions somewhere else. So writing, so this is, once again, if you're using WordPress for blogging, right? So it's the type of post that you're going to use, and then you can connect up an email server and connect directly to an email server. And then the idea of reading how many static posts are engaged, the number of blogs, etc. Discussion. Once again, these features are more for the blog parts. Remember that WordPress at its DNA was a blog software. So a lot of the structural elements of WordPress are blog structural components, and most of the time we'll just ignore or disable them. And so here what we're talking about is how many people can post, whether they can post directly, or the posts have to be read before they're uploaded, and all this type of stuff. So once again, most of the time we're not going to need this or use this. Media. So basically, one of the interesting things about WordPress having that CMS, the content management system, the database, is that I can control lots of elements from the database. So I could, if I was working HTML, I could write a script that allows me to upload one image and then export that image to different parts of the site at different sizes, or with a border, or with other elements. Those types of features are built right into WordPress. So I can upload one picture, and then I have the option of using that same picture at different dimensions. So here it's setting what those dimensions happen to be, what a thumbnail will be considered, what is considered a thumbnail on your site, what is considered a medium-sized image on your site, or what is considered a large image. So if I have an image and it's a large size image, 1024 at its largest, well, it can be larger than that, but at least 1024, then I can import that image and I can place it on a page, and I have the option of using any one of those three sizes: large, medium, or thumbnail. Next is the idea of a permalink, okay? So a permalink is how WordPress sets up hyperlinks, right? And the idea is this is a descriptor that describes each of the pages, and the descriptor that allows you to link one page to another or to another website. And there's a bunch of different format options for your permalinks. The best one to use is post name, right? So what that will be is the name of the website / name of the post, okay? That's the best one, and so that's the one we'll use. And in this case, it will be the name of the website / the name of a page, but that is called post name, and that is the most effective for page building, for web page building, as far as your permalink settings. And then we have some privacy options. We can just not worry about that right now, but you can come back and read that later. And I can expand or collapse that menu. Usually I leave it expanded. And that's an overview on the different parts of Word. There's a couple other things. Up at the very top, you'll see there, it says the name of the site. If I click here, I can visit the site and I can see what I'm building. So I can jump in anytime I want, and I can look at where I am with my page builder. Then I can close that and come back down to my site. And then I just engage the different elements by clicking over here on the left. And each time you click, it'll expand and show you additional options. So that is our overview on the WordPress environment, okay? And next, what we're going to do is go in and start understanding different parts of page building.